Joining us now, Dave Bossie, the former deputy campaign manager for the Trump for President campaign, engineering that big victory in 2016. Dave also now, as has been for some time, the chairman of Citizens United and the president there. And he is with us. Dave Bossie, great to have you, man.
Hey, good to be with you this morning. Thanks for having me, John.
Dave, during the campaign in 2016, you were one of the key people in the field getting this campaign done, engineering this upset victory. Trump right now behind in almost every major poll, behind in the swing states. A lot of people starting to get concerned about how does the Trump campaign turn the corner and win this election. What is Dave Bossie's perspective on this?
Well, John, I think we're facing today the exact same thing we faced in 2016. No question about it. We're facing a corrupt media that creates these polls and creates the pool of people that they poll so that the numbers are bad. They lie to the American people incessantly, and the media has a narrative to defeat Donald Trump, just as they did in 2016. So this is nothing new for the president. And what I feel, and what I have my finger on the pulse of the base and of the American people, just like we did in 2016. The undervote that we saw in 2016, that Brexit started in 2015, that we carried over in 2016, that is there in even bigger numbers this year because after 5 years of the American people getting beat up, being attacked for wearing a MAGA hat, for being attacked for being pro-Trump, for even putting a yard sign in your yard, people are tired of it, and they're going to support Donald Trump on Election Day, but they're not going to necessarily be talking about it. So we are in a good position. The president has time. He has time on his side, and this is a binary choice when you go into the ballot box on November 3rd. Mm-hmm. It's either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. It's not a conversation about theories. It is a choice. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about law and order versus defund the police, when you talk about higher taxes versus lower taxes, when you talk about open borders versus a big wall and border security, getting rid of drugs and cartels and human trafficking, when you talk about all of these issues, regulation and deregulation, and you make it about the future of America and the future of America for your children and grandchildren, people are voting for Donald Trump because they look at the law and order, they look at the anarchy and the people running amok on television every single day across this country, the murder, the mayhem caused by these Democrat mayors and governors across the country. People don't want it. And so people say, oh, the president has a problem with suburban voters or suburban women or this group or that group. Every American wants safety, security, and prosperity for their children. And that's what this election is going to come down to, and that's why Donald Trump is going to win on Election Day.
So basically, Dave, what you're saying is we're getting the same false narrative with the polls we got in 2016. Then also, Dave Bossie, there's a lot of people that, worse than 2016, that, they're not comfortable saying they're for Trump because if you're calling them up, they know your address, they know your phone number, they don't want to get outed and get firebombed or get, whatever happens to people.
Look, the New York Times doxed Tucker Carlson. If they could do that to the number one cable talk news person in the world, they can do it to you. And that's what the American people get. And they're tired of it. They're going to speak their mind, but they're going to speak their mind on Election Day. And that's why Donald Trump still has this race in a winnable position. I don't like, just like you, just like all the Americans that are listening to this show, we don't like to see the polls. I wish the polls said Donald Trump was up 8 instead of down 8. I get that. But I don't care about national polls. And I didn't care about national polls in 2016. I care about the polls in North Carolina and in Arizona and in Florida. I care about the polls in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. That's where this race is going to be won or lost. So people listening in those areas need to make sure that their friends, their family, their neighbors are registered to vote and turn out to vote. That's what you can do every day that you go between now and November 3rd. Make sure your friends, family, and neighbors are registered to vote and turn out to vote. That's the key to victory, and not about the polls in July. Because look, the New York Times had a poll, and I've been talking about this. Corey Lewandowski's been talking about this. There was a poll by the New York Times in late July of 1988 that had Dukakis beating Bush 55-38. The race was over, and President
by 17.
Dukakis never happened. Never happened.
So I get a long way to go. And I remember in the 2016 campaign, it was around August. I remember you and Kellyanne putting the directive out that you would do no more national polls internally, that you would just stop spending the money and time on it, and all the polling you were going to doing was just in the battleground states that you had to win. So kind of the same theory going forward, right? The national polls don't matter because they're skewed by New York, California, Washington State.
Yeah. What do we care?
Whatever.
What do we care? What do we care about what Manhattan and Los Angeles and San Francisco do to impact a poll? It's just dishonest by the pollsters that do them for the Washington Post and New York Times and the networks. They do it on purpose. They're doing it to try to drive down our turnout, to say he's defeated and so don't bother. In my opinion,
right.
That only helps us. It makes the Trump people, it makes the Trump army out there stronger, because we're the underdog. We're always the underdog. We were the underdog in 2016, and we're the underdog this year.
Dave Bossie, if you're with the campaign right now, the way you were in 2016, a lot of us have called for you to get back involved. I've been leading that effort, as you know, in the media. I think you should be involved in some way ASAP. If you were, what are a couple of things that you would like to see changed, done immediately?
Well, John, I appreciate that, and I am involved, and the president and I speak regularly. Corey Lewandowski, who was instrumental in 15 and 16, he and I collaborate literally daily. We conduct strategy sessions. We're talking to the senior staff of the campaign. We're talking to the senior staff of the White House. We are talking to the president. We're traveling with the president. We are around with him. So they are getting the benefit. Just because we don't have titles doesn't mean we're not involved. And it is important for our side to band together as one and move forward as one. We do have a lot of work to do, and there is a lot to do. To answer your question directly, there is a lot of work to be done. And look, we have a great ground game that we are beginning, but the strategy and tactical decisions that we really were involved in 2016 and need to be really honed. The messages that we run on for the next 100 days need to be honed. We need to make sure that we stay on message, that we have message discipline. Those are things that we instilled in 16, really not until about September 1st, Labor Day. And so we have time. I'm not saying we should waste time, but we do, John, have some time to put this machine back together. And Bill Stepien, and now yesterday they elevated Justin Clark, who also worked with us in 2016 and has been instrumental, to deputy campaign manager. The two of them, along with myself and Tony Fabrizio and Brad Parscale and Corey Lewandowski, Kellyanne Conway, we're going to put together the best opportunities for this president. And the president's the person. Look, he won it by himself in 2016. And the guy's capable of winning it by himself again in 2020. I hate to break it to the staff, but we were 1% of the 100. I mean, the president's 99%. He has to get on message. Of the message that the campaign decides is going to be the last run. Not today, but by Labor Day, we have to be on message and stay dedicated to that message and drive it home. And I think Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, the internal campaign pollsters, are on top of it and are making great decisions and are going to have good data for us. And I think that's where this campaign heads.
All right, well, look, I feel 100% better now that I've talked to you, and I'm glad you came on, Dave. A lot of us have been calling for you to get back involved, and it sounds like you are on a daily basis behind the scenes. I feel a lot better about what you said, and we need to have you on a regular basis because I'm convinced we're going to turn the corner. We're going to win this election because Trump is now the candidate of civilization and
That's
law and
right.
order. Biden is the candidate of anarchy and chaos.
It's the future of America. It is no less than that. Look, in 2016, we said, and by the way, I've been doing this a while, we say it every 4 years. It's the most important election of our lifetime. Well, guess what? This is, forget 16, forget 12. This is simply a watershed, a moment for America. It's not between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is between an America that we want and an America that the socialists, that the fascists want to give us and take away our freedom. This is a big deal. This is a big election, and it means everything to the future of this country and for our children and grandchildren.
Hey, I know you have to take off, but final question, Dave. I just got to get your take on this. The president's sending federal resources into Portland, Oregon, coming under fire. That city has been burned down. There's been riots there every single night. Don't the people of that city want some kind of order there?
You would think so, John. You would think that the people who have to get up and go to work in and around Portland every day, use mass transit, to go to their jobs, and by the way, in a pandemic, which is hard enough, is simply they would be tired of it, but they're not. It seems, because they're not rising up. The president has decided that enough's enough, and he's sending in support to our federal partners there to make sure that they're getting the leaders, the bad actors, off the streets. And the mayor of that city is either he's one or the other. He's either part of the problem, or he's so stupid he doesn't deserve to be in office, and he should be recalled. He should be get him out of there. That mayor is a leftist, and I know the answer because he is part of the problem. He is ideologically in tune with those people who are burning his city to the ground, and he should be made to pay a price for that at the ballot box. And it's so destructive. It's irresponsible. And by the way, just like the mayor of Minneapolis, he's going to be coming to the federal government for a bailout. And just like Minneapolis, the president should say, absolutely not. You know what? The city taxpayers, the state taxpayers can hold you accountable because you let people loot and rob and steal and murder at will. And it is unacceptable in America. So I think that Donald Trump's doing exactly the right thing. So I got to go, John. Thank you so much.
All right, Dave. Always good to hear from you.